casually walk into it, bro.
Welcome everybody to the Business is Blooming podcast, where we got LUC, LMC from High Design on the show today. Man, it's a dope motherfucking show, bro. I can't believe that I even got this motherfucker on the show. I think it's showing my progression, and you guys are here to see it and be with me, man. So, LUC, where you from, man? Tell the people where you from and what's your background, bro.
Yeah, so I am from Seattle, Washington, up in the Pacific Northwest. Grew up Central Seattle. Went to high school at Garfield High School. But yeah, I've been involved with cannabis for pretty much like since probably 13 I'd say. Started like really selling, jugging like 14 and 14 to kind of like 23, 24, like 23, like a little under 10 years, right around 10 years. I sold it. And some people go, people call it decades, obviously trapping or whatever. But yeah. And then I kind of lost everything and a bunch of shit happened and had to kind of rebuild, rebuild more than just that, honestly. Like, it's a weird mentality, bro, it's almost like I kind of sometimes call like drug dealers. And I don't like to call weed dealers drug dealers, but they are. Let's just say that moment technically, like they're like in my opinion one of the biggest addicts in the whole thing, right? They're addicted, but they're not addicted to necessarily the drugs, but they're addicted to the stuff that comes with it. So anyway, yeah, you learn a lot of bad habits, bro, when you like growing up like that kind of mentality, and so. I had to rebuild a lot of stuff and just, it's definitely hard to make a lot of money, high volumes of money illegally once you hit a certain level, but it's way harder, in my opinion, to make that legal money, obviously. I think it's more of a flex to be like,
I tell you one of the words in cannabis uses that I kind of really cling to is caregivers. Medicine that I create and the medicine that I cultivate, man, I truly believe that it's medicine for me, along with my quote unquote patients, right? Because they come to me for a reason. Think about it. There's 45 different people probably on one corner that all offer their medicines, right? And they choose me or you or whoever the case may be, because one, the fire, but also just the vibe, man. I think it's the energy that's being exchanged, you know what I mean? From me, my garden, to the plant, to the customer, that energy throughout the whole process is, I think, what they are getting medicated off of, along with, obviously, the cannabinoids and terpenes and shit like that. But I really do believe it's about it, that energy shit, bro. For real.
It is, bro. Energy is really, I think it's I think energy is a big component to this world that we live in. It's like the kind of energy, different types of energy, obviously, like, but I think it's like the whole idea of karma, is like kind of you get what you get back what you put in, right? So it's like,
sure,
positive energy gets you positive energy, negative gets you negative. The medical aspect was it's sad because there's like going to be a lot of people that come up through this that didn't really get to see. I mean, they'll see it in a different way, but they didn't get to see medical cannabis like as it like because now they're all being turned into farm. Anyway, I don't want to go too deep in that, but
yeah. So, man, we can keep course, man. So, what got you into documenting the cannabis industry, bro?
Yeah. So, So like I mentioned earlier, so pretty much I, dropped out of college at the time, after I kind of lost everything. I was kind of lost, bro. And then I ended up getting a job with a company called Space Weed that, my very first I-502 job, which is I-502 is the bill that was legalized in Washington State. But I was up in Bellingham, pretty much just dropped, so I got a job with this place, this company called Space Weed, and really dope, unique curing technology, by the way. I'm gonna have some documentaries out here soon, but it's kind of come circle because I like the very first company being Space Weed. It's now, I like 3 years later, I'm now about to become,
Partner again. Yeah. That's dope. That's dope.
So I mean, I like worked my way up, just all the different jobs. It's crazy to see that. But anyway, I'm working there, and then I start working for some other I-502 companies, some big outdoor companies out the east side, and then Washington, and then but I, in general, I was just like pissed off at the end, like just I-502, because I was in high school and I kind of operated. I mean, I did operate in the medical market, during high school. I kind of got to see that amazing era. I call it like the golden era of like, medical cannabis. I think your guys are kind of in it right now for your like in, because you're in Houston, right?
No, I'm originally from Houston, but I'm operating out of Virginia.
Okay, Virginia. Okay, so you guys are kind of in that era still as well. You're in that, it's going to kind of come out of it, but the next couple of years. But Washington State's really uniquely like hard for especially the producer processors because they don't allow for vertical integration. You have to have separate. The retail has to be separate than producer processor, the brands, and so the brands and the only place you could buy cannabis to this day, which doesn't make any sense legally, is in a store. There's no delivery. There's no consumption lounge. Anyway, it's very hard for brands, and so I just got frustrated. There's also a lot of scummy people, bro. Like a ton of shitty people. With any new industry, what happens is there's a lot of people that flood into it, right? And that's that's given. But there's going to be a lot of like scammers. There's going to be a lot of just shitty people. And then over time, what happens is they kind of get weeded out because they just can't operate in the market because they keep people over.
Thank you for so long.
Yeah. But I was just frustrated, bro. And I want to play in the big leagues, bro. I was like, man, I want to, let's really have like, and that's like one component to my like how I got into this, right? So there's one component there. The other component is like seeing the struggle that a lot of cannabis entrepreneurs, small business cannabis entrepreneurs, had to go through. And I'm an aspiring cannabis entrepreneur myself, right? But so that kind of got me into like, hey, like, and then another aspect to it is like kind of seeing where all this content, like where everything's heading right now, is like as time goes on, content creators are becoming more and more, for lack of a better word, powerful, right? In a lot of ways, there's much more impact, right? And I kind of predicted, I was like, okay, well, let me just start doing, YouTube videos, just kind of like talking about different things in the cannabis industry, just to help out cannabis entrepreneurs and also learn myself, right, as a cannabis entrepreneur, aspiring.
Exactly.
And that's like one of the best things. That's why podcasting is great. This is why, like, because you get to like knock 3 birds, 1 stone. It's like you get to network with someone, you get to learn yourself, you get to talk more. It's really efficient.
You hit it right on the head, man. You hit it right on the head. This is exactly why I do this, man. I do it to network. I do it to learn, but I also do it to some of the same questions that I have. My viewers could have. They can be an inspired entrepreneur in the cannabis industry, and by watching the businesses doing podcasts, you got that question answered. You can find direction. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. No, that's absolutely right, dude. Absolutely right. That's exactly like the mentality I think should have. And so I started out, just doing a lot of like kind of review news or just talk about different, things in the business that are happening, right? And so the first year, it was like right when COVID had kind of started, like right before COVID had started. And so I kind of got lucky, right, where I was able to kind of just really like, I was kind of going through a really rough, probably one of the harder times of my life, just in terms of like transitioning from a lifestyle that, was first of all, not a healthy lifestyle in the sense of just like, bad money spending habits because you just had a bunch of money, a bunch of shit, ego. Mm-hmm. So that time was pretty hard, but this work though helped me kind of overcome a lot of those hardships, I would say, and really helped build kind of this new person, I would kind of call it, because, growing up, selling weed your whole life, right? Selling, drugs, really, to be honest, like it gave you a sense of inflated ego. It gave you a lot of bad habits, bro, a lot of bad qualities. Sure. And so I kind of, it was so funny because like when everything fell I think about that song that Carrie Hilson, Kanye West song, All Falls Down. Like and like once you have that moment though, and it's like you really get humbled and you're on the other side of a situation that you may have been, like there's multiple times where I was on the other side of a situation that I had never experienced before. And I was like, this is how this feels. Like this is like how this feels. Like probably wouldn't have appreciated like, me acting this way than I did in the past. Right. So I got humbled, bro. I got really, really humbled, and like it's definitely needed. I'm really that time because one, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if that was the case. Two, I wouldn't be the person I am today, obviously, that I'm, I think I'm pretty happy.
So I think your answer leads me directly into my next question, like literally on my notepad. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been doing documentaries for about 2 to 3 years now, right? I think that's about the time you started coming on my radar and popping in my algorithm feed, and I was like, yeah, I fuck with him.
Yeah, I'd say 2 to 3. I'd say about like 2.5 years. Yeah.
What would you tell yourself back then? What you know now? Because think about it. Back then, you told me yourself. You said that about 3 years ago, right when you started doing this, you were in a space where you were figuring it out all over again, right? But look at you now, So, what would you tell yourself now?
It's hard to say, bro, because honestly, I would say just be patient and keep working, and just keep doing what you're like. There were definitely some times throughout that time where like I could have been more efficient here or there. I could have been more, I could have been better, and you can always be better, right? But I would honestly just say, and this is something, I actually got to give, and I got to give credit to Masonic Smoke, where he like, Masonic does
Masonic.
Yeah, it was weird. It's like I barely started talking to him. I kind of started talking. This is like very beginning, kind of all this. And anyway, we started talking, and he gives me some advice. He just told me to be patient, like because I was just like really trying to have it happen now. And obviously you want to have that kind of hasten pace. You want to be going quick, but
sure.
One thing I would tell myself this is actually what I would definitely tell myself. Definitely be patient, but also work smarter, not harder, right? And I'll give you an example really quick, a little story that helps kind of encapsulate what I'm talking about. So my first year that I started doing YouTube was like the end of 2019, right? So for that whole year and a half, the first year of doing YouTube, I thought it was just kind of a volume game. And it is a volume game at the very beginning. You want to put out a bunch of content. And I really did. I mean, I tried to hit 1,000 videos in 1 year. And I got to 920 or 30 or something. But put the math together on that. That's like 2.5 videos a day, bro. Like that's like there was like 9 or 10 days I took off from even making a video. But like there'd be times I'd make like 7 videos. Like and that they were kind of me like reviewing stuff quickly. It wasn't like much more meticulous like I am now. Like I have a whole team now, so it's a little bit different. It's much different now. But at first, what you want to do is you want to just work really hard. And so like in a lot of ways, actually, I don't know if I would just tell myself, once you hit a certain amount of volume, just always try to get better and not just get tunnel vision and just keep doing the same thing. Like you need to keep mixing it up, trying new things, but you need to keep that volume, because the more volume you do, the more failure you have, the more you're going to learn. The more you learn, right, the better you're going to be, the more improvements you're going to make, right? And so, like thinking about it, I was like kind of mad at myself. I was like, man, I really did 9 out of those 920 videos. Do you know how many that are left on my main channel that I kept up?
Yeah, I looked at your channel today. I would say about 40, maybe 30.
No, before that first year though. The first year.
Oh, before none.
No.
Yeah, none.
That's 900 videos. So like, and think about that, 900 videos, and they're all averaging about anywhere from like 7 to 20, 30 minutes, bro, a piece. Like anywhere from like 3 to 40 minutes potentially. More in like the 3 to like 15-minute range, 10-minute range. Like, you know how much time that's a lot of time I felt like I wasted, to be honest. But I didn't waste it. I shouldn't say that. But the point is I probably could have picked my head up at like video 450, maybe. Like, right. I got tunnel vision a little bit, and eventually,
but you know what though, man?
Different, right? I started trying something different, and so I did the first high design documentary I did was the burner deal, the burner and the cookies cannabis empire. And because I tried something different, and then the market, the YouTube algorithm / people, they got a lot of views and told me, okay, this is the pathway I need to go. And that's how I got into it, really, just to kind of come. So
I'll tell you what you did, man. I don't think that was a waste, bro. I'll tell you this. It's kind of like the mixtape game, what you did, bro. You broke the industry, kind of like 50 Cent, when he just flooded New York in the world with mixtape after mixtape after mixtape. It's kind of what you did, bro. Like I said, the algorithm, the people told you to do this, and that's when I caught you. You know what I mean? And I've been following ever since. So you might have think it'd have been for nothing, or the you now at this point says that was a lot of work for nothing. But the you then was the exact path that you needed to take, which is crazy, bro. Right?
No, you're right, dude. No, exactly. And it's not. Like I said at first, it's kind of waste time. I think more so, like I said, dude, it's kind of like, I wish maybe I had learned. Like, I'm not the quickest learner, but once I get something, I can really dig into it. But like, I'm really by far like really a slow learner, honestly, in a lot of ways. Like, but and that's okay. Like I said, we all have our own developmental like stages, right? Or like timing of it all. It all, some people develop long, later on, early. Some people develop all that stuff, right? Their physical, mental, all those kind of things, And I think. But if you just put effort in and you work hard, there will be results. I mean, that's just pure and simple, like that. No matter who you are, what you're doing in life, if you apply effort, it might take you a little longer to learn. Like myself, it took me a little longer to learn. Okay, maybe this is the route I need to go. But like you said, everything happens for a reason, bro. And like there's not technically really any waste in that, because I needed all that experience to be able to make those changes there. So yeah,
sure, man. That's dope, man. And I'm glad that you made those decisions, because you're actually here now talking to me, bro. So it's dope.
Yeah, man.
So
it's all happens for a reason.
So you did a documentary on Nipsey Hussle, and you called him in that documentary. You said that he's the rap smartest entrepreneur. Hell of a documentary, by the way. If you guys haven't checked that out, please go to High Design and click on that raps.
You can just search LMC Nipsey Hussle on YouTube and it'll pop up.
Or like that. Do it easier from the man himself. Dope documentary. But why did you feel it was important to do that documentary, bro?
I've been a really, really, really big fan of Nipsey probably since like the very like really early. Like I've been a few rappers I've been huge fans of since like the kid was like 50 Cent, Drake,
Same.
Gucci, Waka, those kind of, but that was a little bit actually later on, like high school, the beginning of high school, kind of like middle school, end of middle school. But another one was Nipsey Hussle, because my brother showed me Hustle in the House, right? And he's just someone that's like stuck. I've been on, there was different trips, I've been on like, some service trips like that. I was like fortunate enough to be able to go on, and I'd have, only a couple of mixtapes to listen to, and like, Crenshaw was one of them, and like that, and just like, anyway, I like love Nipsey Hussle in a multitude of different ways. But one thing is, once you really start to listen to his music, and then you start to kind of really understand the kind of person he is and who his brother was, or who his brother is. Shout out to Black Sand, by the way. And
Black Sand.
Then the whole mentality of the marathon, and like, he obviously had a massive impact on people. I mean, there's literally murals of Nipsey like in Seattle. Like this is not his. Yeah. And so like that's like, and like, bro, like unfortunately, unfortunately, really sad. There's a lot of rappers that have died, but like, how many rappers have made that kind of impact? And so it's like, it's something to say like, he was someone that I think a lot of people disrespected because he preached. I mean, I'm a big advocate for people taking the entrepreneurial route. Meaning you don't need to sign to a record label. You can be your own boss. You just have to be able to like put that effort in and learn. It's about empowering the individual yourself, not relying on a record label, right? Not relying on the government necessarily, not relying on, like trying to be self-reliant and really looking at how to be an independent creator. And at the heart of it all, bro, he was an independent creator, and he was a he realized, bro, like these record labels are glorified, you know,
Thanks. Loan sharks. Yeah.
percent, like 50% interest rate, like and so I think it was just Nipsey Hussle was someone that unfortunately was taken from the world way too soon, way too early, because he had a lot more to contribute. But I think it just shows how much he's in, like even with the short amount of time he was here, he had that much of an impact, and it's kind of bittersweet.
Watching your documentary, I got an insight view of how business savvy Nip was, man. How intertwined with our culture's advancement he was. There's a portion in your documentary where it said he was even supporting, I think it was 2016 Hillary Clinton election, like played a major role in trying to get involved into politics to get whatever kind of change he was looking for in the community, but he was involved, and the clothing brand, the Marathon OG. By the way, have you tried that strain?
I know the people. I mean, I know the people that grow it. Shout out to the Cure Company.
Cure Company.
Shout out to Pat. Shout out to Junior over there. It's funny. Like I actually approached. Have you ever seen the marathon cultivation documentary?
Yep.
So this happened to me a couple times different ways, but I had someone get me in contact with Black Sam, Nipsey's brother, mm-hmm. and I tried to pitch them on doing the documentary, and they told me, they're like, "Oh, we got something else in the works." I was like, "No worries, I'm just gonna do it."
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, but then anyway, that came out like 2 years later, a year later, which I liked it. I thought it was really well done. And, I'm just glad it was made. But no, I haven't tried that. But I did that video because I just love his entrepreneur, the politics. I'm honestly, but I get but the thing is, how do you help your community? You have to deal with people in power. You have to, do exactly what you're saying. So I can definitely appreciate that. But yeah, when it comes to cryptocurrency, he was someone that was really early on preaching the independent route, and if you listen to the lyrics of the very first song, the song I first heard, "Hustle in the House," right? I remember listening to that song when I was 12 or 13, 12, I think, or something like that. And you hear and then this is years later, but I'm listening to the lyrics, right? And it's he goes, "We don't take it we don't take advancements," or something like that. And then that documentary, I also mentioned that one line by Jay-Z. It's we don't
mm-hmm.
we don't take advances. Me and my friends,
me and my homies taking chances.
Exactly. Yeah. There. So that's the key of it, was believe in yourself, take the chance on yourself, and self-fund yourself. I'm not that's self-fund yourself, but more so it's the idea of take a chance on yourself, believe in yourself. And that's where it all starts from.
If you know anything about the Houston rap scene,
yeah, that's
all it is independent. There are no big labels out in Houston. I mean, we got Rap A Lot, shout out Rap A Lot, but we don't have Def Jams and Universals and stuff like that, right? So everybody learned that you can make $1 million selling CDs out your trunk. And shout out Slim Thug, shout out Zero the Crooked, you know what I mean? Shout out Michael 5000 Watts and Kiki. All them guys, Master P,
you ran it up
independently.
Yeah, shout out to Baby Cash Money. Hey, they did that too. Because what that does,
ask them who they talked to though to get their game from.
I bet they did get it from the Houston rapper. I believe it.
Man.
Yeah, come on. This is a real deal, absolute brilliant dude. It's kind of crazy, bro. It's he's kind of considered he's connected. And what he's done though,
betting on himself.
Exactly, and it's the thing about it is you're betting on yourself. But what happens is it's something you learn from. That's something I learned from Nipsey and a bunch of other people. So the more you build your catalog, right, the more leverage you're going to have. So the more CDs you sell, the more leverage you're going to have. So what happened is this. How did probably the best record deal besides at this point, Bad Bunny probably has the best record deal ever. Just from a financial standpoint right now, because he built this crazy audience before he even got contact anyway with the he didn't really need money. But the best record deal of all time in America, I would like in the modern era of rap, was Cash Money and Baby and Slim, right? They got a 90-10 split for distribution. 90-10 split from Warner, not from Universal, right? So they would get so these people they're getting like a $500 million advances, right? Like advances, and they're getting advances that are because they know they're gonna. But the thing is, how did they get that? How did he get that 90-10? How did Baby get that 90? Already making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of CD sales, like touring, right? Same with Master P. Master P has a different story that's like pretty dope. Sorry, that's my kitty. But you have to build up leverage because these corporations are here to fuck you pretty much, dude. I mean, like, if you're like, they're not here to yeah, you could get, you could become like I don't know, what's a good example? Like, I don't want to say Cardi B, right? Cardi B, I would be curious to see the record deal she has now. It's actually probably pretty good at this point. She's a lot more leverage, but still, like, the people that make the most money off of just purely music are independent artists. Like,
of course,
right?
Like, it only makes sense.
Yeah. And then you can get like sometimes the sweet spot where it's like, well, like Taylor Swift, right? She is like a straight up billionaire she's the first billionaire off of just her music, which is pretty insane. Mm-hmm. But because she has the mainstream she has this crazy audience, right? Like, but she rode the wave of the big record labels for years. She obviously got disgruntled with people like Scooter Braun, whatever. Anyway, but she employed a lot of tactics, right? That she learned from hip hop and other people. Like, you can re-record your stuff, right? You can re-record your albums that you pretty much sold away for pennies on the dollar. I mean, it's in a lot of ways. There's a lot of middlemen in this world, bro. That yes, there are systems needed to be put in place to help people, but at the end of the day, a lot of it's middleman, like in this scenario, and it's like you're getting. But yeah, dude. And so just kind of digress back with like Nipsey Hussle. It's like that's kind of I think we're going into this new era of like independent creators, right? Kind of started with music, but now that we're in this new era of like creators, like you and me, we are now have to have that kind of mindset to a certain degree. And there's not really as much like a record label system. Like there definitely is, but it's not as prevalent as it was probably, like it is in music. But at the same time, we still have to think about like this is a business at the end of the day. Like we have to think like entrepreneurs, we have to think like that, and we have to better ourselves. At the end of the day, bro, especially the beginning of anything, you have to believe in yourself, because absolutely no one really actually, like, you may have family members or other people that I believe in, but they don't. I mean, they don't really. They're just trying to be good. Like, so you have to have that self-belief, right? And then eventually over time, like I remember my brother eventually one time, coming to me like a year and a half in or something. He goes, "You know what, dude? I gotta say, man, like, I'm impressed, bro. Like, I didn't think you were gonna stick with this, and like, you really, like." So at that point, he started to believe. But the starting point is no one's coming to save you. No one's gonna make you believe. You have to believe in yourself, right? You have to have it. So, shout out to Nipsey, R.I.P. Nip. And yeah. I mean, I think the marathon, the whole idea of the marathon, right? It's like, this is not it's not a sprint. It's a jog. It's not a jog. It's not a, you know what I'm saying?
It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
So you got an interview coming out in about 2 days, right? With one of the guys.
I got part one. And this is gonna be. So I just went down to San Francisco, did my first interview with Werner. It was pretty cool. Did like a 2-hour interview, went pretty quickly. Definitely want to do some more here in the future. We talked about a lot.
Without giving them too much, bro. I don't have to be catching on your side. We can talk about it.
I'll tell you what we talked about. I mean, to a certain degree, So the one that's coming out. So what's going to be happening is I'm going to have a number of different chapters come out almost. Mm-hmm. And so the chapter 1 right now, so it's a bunch of different things. We talked about a bunch of different things, like nothing was in chronological order, obviously. So this first part is it's a 15-minute little mini doc, kind of like interview / mini doc, where he talks about his relationship with Drake and how it spans all the way back to like 2010 or whatever, and then we talk about Drake's whole, and so I start with that, and then we move, and then I move into other aspects about Drake's, cannabis business, his history there, and then so what's gonna happen is like we're gonna Burner's gonna talk about his personal story with something, and then we're gonna use that as a way to kind of talk about broader stuff as well, like kind of more in that sense with the Drake video. It's just talking a little broader about how he
kind of like exactly how we've been straight.
Yeah,
sure.
So yeah, we're gonna so and then but there's gonna be other aspects too. Like for example, we talk about Connected, his relationship with Connected, which is for folks that don't know the history of that, it was definitely kind of contentious between the two sides, but they're all cool now. But he talks about that. He talks about Ivan from the Jungle Boys, his relationship, and then their brand Exotics. And so we get into that, which is super interesting. We talk about the structuring of the licensee business, right? So we get it because I would say one of the more knowledgeable people about Burner and everything he's doing, because I've studied him pretty intensely for the last few years. I was able to ask questions that I don't think anybody else would be able or would have asked him ever. So we talk about stuff. We talk about a lot of different things that he hasn't really ever talked about, right? So it was.
And that's just doing your homework, man. That's pretty dope, bro. For you to be able to, go in and interview someone which you've been studying for quite some time, and like you said, have questions that only you can ask of them. You know what I mean? I'm excited. I'm pretty sure my audience, when they hear this, is going to be as excited as I am. And where can you find it, bro? Because I know YouTube's
so it's going to come out on YouTube, and it's just going to come out later. But if you want early access to it, also there's going to be access to exclusive content that's just only going to be on there. You can go to just www.highdesign.media, and then there's a free version and there's a paid version, but you can go there and watch it. It's part of the free version right now. So if you want to watch part 1 with Drake, you can go do that for free.
Can't believe that you guys got exclusive content, and y'all heard it from Business is Blooming podcast first. I think that's pretty dope. I don't think that he's actually probably divulged into what they talked about. I mean, it's out, but not part 2, part 3, and so that's pretty dope, man. Matt, we're gonna continue to puff on this King Neptune. Shout out to the supply chain and
shout out to Mac Blunts. Shout out to the Business is Blooming podcast. Absolutely loved our interview that we just did. It was really insightful, and definitely go check out the interview. Go support my guy Mac Blunts. Amazing up and coming content creator who I know is gonna crush it because he really wants this. So I'm excited to see where he goes, how he grows, and if you fuck with me, go fuck with him.